Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Town of Limington SelectBoard meeting for December 12th, 2024. We'll call the meeting to order at 7:01 p.m., and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we need approval for the meeting minutes for December 5th, 2024.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries. Approval of the warrants for week number 50. Payroll warrant number 116 in the amount of $31,293.88. And appropriations warrant number 117 in the amount of $80,406.09. The total of the warrants is $111,699.97. A couple of recurring bills. Bureau of Motor Vehicles, $3,442.06. CMP, $622.61. Charter Communications, that's the internet, $323.34. Animal Welfare Society Incorporated, $1,420.50. UniFirst, $139.76. Maine PERS, that's the retirement program, $10,726.70. Judy Fullerton Cleaning Service, $680. Bob's Tire, $945. Consolidated Communications for $44.71. EcoMaine, $26,326.97. JP Carroll Fuel, $302.77. Kids Free to Grow, $500. Maine Healthcare at Home, $2,700. Pine Tree Waste, Porta Potties, $380. Ready Fresh Water, $105.93, and stipends for the Financial Advisory Committee, Health Officer, Board of Appeals, and Planning Board, $4,765.92. I await a motion.
I make a motion to approve week 50's payroll warrant 116 and appropriations warrant 117.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries. Moving on to the purchase order request. Tammy, would you like to bring us through those, please?
Sure. Purchase order request for fire and EMS. A request to pay Visa for eFax, $18.99. A request to pay Visa for EMS relicensing, $220. A request to pay Image Trend license support, $175. A request to pay Jason Libby reimbursement for training luncheon, $167.46. A request to pay Boundtree for EMS supplies, $1,267.69. A request to pay Oceanid for water rescue craft, $6,300. A request to pay Sleepers for supplies, $113.56. A request to pay Admiral for axes and helmet, $267.35. A request to pay ARPA Fund equipment, $5,329.65. And a request to pay International Critical Incidents, $275.
I'll make a motion to approve the fire and EMS purchase order request.
I will second that.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries.
Purchase order request for the municipal complex. A request to pay Maine Municipal Association for a deposit for the town manager search, $2,000. And a request to pay WB Mason for folders and boxes, $56.54.
I'll make a motion to approve the municipal complex purchase order request.
I will second that.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries.
Parks and Recreation purchase order requests. A request to pay Visa for QR code generator, $197.25. And a request to pay Modern Pest, 1-year agreement and recent service, $2,142.
I'll make a motion to approve the Parks and Rec Department purchase order request.
I will second that.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries.
Davis Memorial Library purchase order requests. A request to pay Visa for Blue Host, $37.17. And a request to pay Tina Marie Hilton for website update, $108.
I'll make a motion to approve the Davis Memorial Library purchase order request.
I will second that.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries.
General Assistance Purchase Order Request. A request to pay Down East Energy $144.45. A request to pay J.P. Carroll Fuel $591.73. And a request to pay Mainly Heating Oil $574.28.
I'll need somebody else to make a motion.
Oh, sorry. I'll make a motion to accept the GA requests.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. All in favor? I'm abstaining as the General Assistance Administrator. The motion carries.
Public Works Purchase Order Request. A request to pay Carroll Materials for Cold Patch $150.
I'll make a motion to approve the Public Works Department purchase order request.
I will second that.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries. On to weekly activities for the Select Board. It's been a lot of budget prep, specifically from Tammy. She's been doing an excellent job on that. We're helping her out as best we can, but it's best that one person has their hands in that pot at one time. I am currently working, we are all currently working towards hiring the town manager. We're communicating with an individual, Richard Cromwell from MMA. They are giving us a hand with the prep for that event. That's pretty much all I had for Select Board weekly activities. I'm sure I'm forgetting something. It's mostly budget prep and town manager.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. If either of you think of something, feel free to say it. Let's move on to the department weekly updates. Jason, would you like to start us off?
Sure. Fire and EMS, week ending, excuse me, December 7th. 21 calls of service that week, month to date 21, year to date 726, 1 fire and 20 EMS calls. All shifts were covered and filled for the week. Trainings, in-house, Wednesday night was their monthly meeting, an equipment check night. They inspected, ran, and cleaned all the extrication tools, ran and cleaned all the chainsaws, and inspected all the ground ladders. Sunday, the 1st, they held the second of their annual live fire burn trainings at the Hollis Training Facility. Crews did live fire suppression, as well as several different search and rescue evolutions. For 2 of their newest members, this was their first exposure to actual firefighting. Maintenance, they are still awaiting the correct parts to arrive for the overhead door that failed on Thanksgiving. Equipment, the municipal complex generator had failed. The generator is usable. It needs to be, if needed, but it is in on-demand mode. So Gowan has been contracted to, and has ordered the parts to repair the issue. Vehicles, Department of Public Works ordered and installed the 6 new wheels and tires for the ambulance. These are steel wheels with aggressive treads for the winter months. The tires that came with the ambulance are still good condition and will be put on for the summer on the aluminum rims. So, the special notes, there are currently 7 calls.
Ahead?
I'm assuming ahead of last
Okay.
December.
Yeah.
Year to date, there are 59 calls ahead of last year, so they are trucking. The planning board, they meet December 16th, Monday. They have a public hearing for Earl Bunting on a 3-lot subdivision at 7. And then 7:30, they'll have a conditional use permit application for an auto repair shop on Durgan Farm Road. And then their other business starts at 7. Craig, CEO office. This month, since 12/4, 1 growth permit, 1 building permit, 2 plumbing permits, 1 occupancy permit, and 1 junkyard permit, for a total of 6. $3,027.40 out of them. And year-to-date is $139,624.40. Craig's been on 5 inspections this week.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jason. Tammy, would you like to bring us through Parks and Rec, please?
Okay. Current programs, before and after care program at HB Emory. The coffee social every Wednesday from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. at the Old Town Hall. Indoor pickleball. Mom's Coffee Hour, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. every Monday at the Old Town Hall. Flag football and rugby clinic, youth basketball, and outdoor explorer, all going on within the Limington Parks and Rec Department. For other, there'll be another community meal, a traditional bean supper at the Old Town Hall this Saturday, December 14th at 3. There will also be a group going caroling after the meal if you'd like to join. Again, if you know someone that could use a meal box for Christmas or just a hot meal delivered the day of the event, please reach out to Madison, Emil Braley, or Addie Trefero with their name and address. Our Breakfast with Santa event last weekend was very successful. Thank you to everyone who came out to join us and see Santa. Our before and after kiddos and staff put on an amazing breakfast. Special thank you to Michael Perkins for bringing the Christmas magic. I went to school with him. There will be a potluck lunch in addition to our regular coffee social and game time on Wednesday. Ooh, I might be able to make that. December 18th. Coffee and games from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. and the potluck meal will start at 11:30. Please bring a dish to contribute, and if you are interested, we are doing a little Christmas game as well. Bring a wrapped gift from your home. No purchase necessary to swap. Some of our staff will begin CDLB training through Bonnie Eagle Transportation next week and be able to drive the bus the town will be purchasing through the district for $1. We have officially received a grant through FEMA for $12,237.50 to install a standby generator at the Old Town Hall. Respectfully submitted, Madison Moody.
Nice.
Excellent work going on in Parks and Rec, that's for sure. We don't have a copy of the Public Works Director weekly report. He did come into the office today. We discussed a little bit with the limited time that we had, trucks, the roads, the budget. But other than that, there wasn't really much else to report from that meeting. Right.
Just got one other thing here real
Yep,
quick.
yep.
Limington Christmas Toy Box was able to help 26 families this year for Christmas. Thanks to everyone who purchased gifts and made donations. You are what makes this possible.
Yeah.
So,
Making a big difference to people during the holidays. It truly is appreciated. Community is extremely important, and it's great that people are reaching out in that respect. I do want to mention that the Financial Advisory Committee is going to be meeting tonight after the Select Board meeting. I didn't mention that earlier. I do apologize, but your efforts are greatly appreciated. We will see you later. With that said, you want to take us home with the weekly announcements?
Sure.
Thank you.
Select Board office hours are Thursdays, 2 to 8. The on-air meeting time is Thursdays at 7. Transfer station hours are Saturday and Sunday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Wednesday, 12 to 4. A transfer station sticker must be attached to your vehicle windshield for the disposal of all items. These stickers are available at the town office for $20. No sticker is required to use the swap shop. The transfer station does not accept brush, yard clippings, or hazardous waste. Riverside Recycling in Portland does take these items. The General Assistance office hours, Wednesday, 12:30 to 2:30. Applications are available from the town clerk office during their normal business hours. Applications must be filled out and accompanied with supporting documentation and must be signed. The Planning Board meets at the Municipal Complex the first and third Monday evenings at 7 p.m. Parks and Rec Cards and Coffee is held at the Old Town Hall building every Wednesday from 9:30 to 11:30. Come meet some new folks and play games. If you have questions or suggestions, please reach out to Madison Moody, our rec director, at m.moody@limingtonmaine.gov. I think that they are on a bus trip to York,
yeah, where did
Berwick, somewhere?
Sandy Farms? or
Sandy Farm, yeah, for some light show today?
Yeah.
Huh?
New York?
York?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
There's a
yeah.
big, beautiful bus that was sitting out here this afternoon that they all jumped on, so.
Oh, nice.
Did he take his son with him?
I believe so.
Yes, because the little guy was down here, so.
Yeah.
Yep, I would like that.
Thank you, Tammy. We will open the meeting to the public if anybody would like to make a comment or have a question for the board. Everyone's standing up at the same time. I don't know. No, I'm kidding. No one has questions for us. With that said, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Motion carries. We are adjourned at 7:17 PM. Thank you, everybody, for coming out, and stay tuned for the Financial Advisory Committee meeting.
We will call the meeting to order at 7:29. And since we just did the pledge, we don't need to do that. And we will wait till our next meeting to approve minutes for the last several meetings, if that's okay.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Our order of business tonight is to hear from the Select Board budget for next year for municipal and public works. Is that accurate?
Yes.
All right, we're listening. And Tammy, thank you. I can't imagine how much work that must have been.
No, that's okay. We also took a little bit of time talking with Patty before we wanted to firm up. I had questions, about what has been paid
Yeah.
so far and what hasn't.
Yeah,
So this, I'll give you all. a
thank
copy.
you.
And this, on the left, of course, is the year that we're in.
Mhm.
The middle is what we're thinking that we need. We'll do the
Still
we'll do the
warm.
town first.
Okay?
Sure.
Public Works second.
Yeah,
Great.
sure.
And so
Okay.
this is what we get, it's the ACR, you see that?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, we've seen
This-
them. We
this
don't
is
get it
only
regularly.
to month end November.
Okay.
This has no December expenses in it at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I don't think I need enough of them. I don't think I have another one. Sorry. I didn't know if, you wanted that or not, so. Okay. I'll give you
Yay.
one. Okay? Didn't want you to feel left out.
I was feeling a little bit.
Okay. Okay. So, I don't know where you want to start. We can start with the first line. Also, kind of like to discuss off air, a couple of payroll things,
Mhm.
okay, if you don't mind.
Okay.
So we're gonna kind of skip over a couple of them. I think that we could just talk.
At the end?
Yes,
Or not?
please.
Okay.
Yep,
Great,
if you don't mind.
absolutely.
So, so let's just start with town manager,
Yeah.
okay, if that's okay?
Yeah.
It had been talked about, it was in last year's budget, so the shock factor was already hit with the $100,000.
Mhm.
We're not sure where the process is gonna take us, so the number that's in here is as if we hire somebody March 1st, I
Yeah,
think this
March,
one
that'd
was
be
March
March.
1st,
Yep.
okay?
Yep.
So that's what that number is.
Okay.
The FMLA, we have to pay, starting in January, everybody knows the 1% to the main FMLA to start in the 2026.
Yes.
So that's part of that. The FICA is, of course, part of, whatever the payroll is going to be. The employee retirement is the same. Over on the right, I didn't write it on yours. It says 8,000 there right now. We figured in office 28,600 for that before we came out here. Based on, because that retirement right now is based on one full-time employee. And we're gonna have two. We're gonna have the town manager, right? And since their pay is going to be higher, that's the 28. So, and these are all subject to, discussion later.
Sorry, I didn't follow that
You-
last
you
part.
lost me on
The
that.
28.6, I didn't follow that.
All right, so I have it written down here, okay? Instead of the 8,000,
Yeah,
the department request for employee retirement will be 28,600, as far as I can tell right now.
28,000.
28,600. Yes, because it goes into main PERS. Actually, that retirement is two people right now. It's Jenna and Nikki. So, and so the town manager would come on for main PERS. And likewise with the employee health insurance, there's going to be two full-time employees.
Mhm.
So I doubled that 32,000. Don't pay attention to the 17, I don't know where that came from. So we're looking at 64. But again, we need certainly a lot more discussion on this. A lot more.
Yep.
Training and mileage and tolls, we stayed the same. Now, jump down below code enforcement officer to town clerk's office. And again, we're gonna discuss, that part-time assistant was like a double, that was not supposed to be there.
Okay.
All right, so that's a 0. And then we'll skip the next 2.
Yep.
Then the dues fees, subscription and licenses, Patty said that those are municipal clerk licenses that they take at $60 a piece, so that's 120, not 150. I didn't know if something would go up or not, but that's gonna stay at 120. Because when I first ran through this, it was assuming things, right? That things may increase or whatever, but once I got clarification tonight, I made changes. And the training, $1,200 was last year, and we didn't use any of it. But they recommended 600 for next year, just in case.
Not the
You-
150?
Not the 150, change that to 600. We'll leave the FICA as is until that has more discussion as well. Again, we got a lot of information tonight out of the front office, so hoping to get, plus, once we get a lot of things cleaned up, we haven't received week ending, this week's ending, ACR yet. So we're kind of a couple weeks out from my last, what we're looking at now. Health insurance, drop that a little bit. Postage, the postage, mileage, office supplies, office equipment, these were all requests of the front office. So I didn't have to guess on that. Those were easy to fill in because someone was requesting these numbers. Building upkeep and cleaning, that went up, but we have a new and improved system going on. The building maintenance and repair, the ground maintenance. The telephone, I dropped to 4,400, but that needs to remain at 56, like this year that we're in.
So sorry, can we just go back? So,
Yep.
just curious on the building upkeep and cleaning.
Yes,
You said you have a new system, like
we have a new person
a new person. Okay.
taking care of that.
Okay.
Is that all the cleaning?
That's everything inclusive.
Right, but I mean, how much of that is, like, is it all the cleaning service, or is there some
Yeah, I
fluff
don't
in there
think
too
that
for
she
maintenance
brings
or
anything
upkeep?
in. Is that purchases whatever we need? Like they clean the rugs, right?
Yes, they do the floors, the rugs, it's all, that's the total, all for them to come in and do this.
Do everything.
Yeah, but that's what's in that line, is
Yes,
the cleaning
yes.
person.
Total
Yeah.
cleaning,
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
Yep, absolutely. Any other questions here?
So camera, no, oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah, the next one.
Yeah.
Yes,
big
thank
one.
you.
That's a big one.
It is. So the camera system that was installed throughout the town, first year was paid for by ARPA. And we've been getting bills from Spectrum for all of this, and it's $32.77 a month. That's where you see the 40,000.
3277, where's the comma?
Hmm?
Where's the
30.
comma?
3,000.
3277,
Okay,
okay, per month.
0, 0.
okay,
.00, yeah, 3,200, 3,300 a month.
okay. And what is that for?
The security system
Oh.
that
The
they
previous,
signed- they signed on.
there's cameras
There's cameras
All
at
over the
the
town.
hotel
all over
hall,
town, yes.
Library, down Public Works.
Medeo,
Yep,
Momodale.
Momodale, Old Town Hall.
yeah.
And so what we're paying for, is it an internet service to all of these places, or are the cameras connected to the internet, or
Internet,
satellites,
All,
or,
Cameras.
all of the above, yeah,
Yeah.
Jason.
so we don't own the cameras?
Yes, we purchased the cameras.
No, the cameras are owned by Time Warner Cable.
Okay.
We are paying for the service. And it's a service that is, it's maintenance free on our part. If the cameras were to be damaged or stolen or broken or something like that, Time Warner Cable Spectrum, thank you, Jason, will come in, they'll replace or repair the cameras if necessary. But this was a way of, protecting the liability that the town has, in the event something terrible were to happen. I mean, it was last year or 2 years ago when sadly the old schoolhouse burned down and HB Emery was vandalized. We want to at least, make an effort towards making sure that something like that can't happen again.
And it's $3,300 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, and did we sign a, like, how long's the contract? Did we sign a contract?
Stan signed the contract.
Yeah, Stan Hackett, he was the one who negotiated the contract in and of itself. I can't remember how long the contract is for, so I'll have to get you that information.
Yeah.
Do we have a sense that this is like, I mean, it makes sense to have that security. Is this the best system?
It is the best system. Like I said, it's a system that is handled by Spectrum, so if something were to happen, we wouldn't be the ones fitting the bill. They would be the ones doing the repairs. We've had game cameras and other surveillance over at the transfer station, but it doesn't take long for somebody to shoot them with a BB gun or something like that, and now we have a broken piece of equipment that can't be used, and we spent money on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, just when we negotiate insurance, having this kind of system in place might be helpful with our insurance premium.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Yeah, just,
Can I ask some more questions on that? I mean, that's $40,000. I can remove a lot of spray paint off a building for $40,000. But obviously, building a new building that burnt down, that's a little bit different. But what are we getting for $3,300? We're getting the cameras, or we're renting the cameras, and the service that's connected to them. Are they monitoring them? Is this like a security system that's got a security company monitoring it?
We monitor it. We have, and it's storage, cloud storage, so if we can go back and, I can look back 6 months, 8 months on a particular date time to look at the cameras. Right after they were installed, Bev and Patty were able to pick something out that happened at the library and got it taken care of with the definition of, got a plate number. So, I mean, they did their job right off the bat. So, is the price? Yes, a lot. But it's a contract that was already in place, and I tried to navigate around it, and we couldn't quite get out of it. The ARPA funds paid the first year, and now we're on the hook for it. And I believe it's a 3-year contract, but don't quote me.
okay.
I gotta check.
Oh, so there is a,
Year two?
This would be coming into the first full year. First full year,
Oh, okay.
with 2 years remaining.
Yeah,
I believe that's the case.
yeah.
I
So,
gotta check.
regardless, at this point, we've got $40,000 of expense that we're committed to
Yeah.
for the 25 budget. Yeah.
Okay.
that's why you vote on ARPA funds before you spend them. Just saying.
Okay. We kind of knew that one was coming. Yeah. So, electricity.
And we're in that contract. There's nope, sorry.
I tried. getting it, Stan signed it. And everything was in place when we came into this. I spent
So yeah, it's,
I spent 6 months trying to.
If I may, sorry.
have
We do have some people watching at home, and specifically Stan Hackett, and he wanted me to mention that it is a 3-year contract. Then the price will drop because I guess at that point we will own the cameras, but I'm not sure how that actually works based on the fact that they would replace them if they broke. So I guess it's part of the service. But the price should drop after that 3-year contract is over. If he responds again, I'll be sure to say
Yep.
something.
Thank you.
yep. Okay,
Electricity? That should stay at 15,000 too. For some, I wrote that off to the side, and that was, we're talking in
Yeah.
office before I came out.
yeah.
Heating, fuel,
What is
propane.
the actual there on the
Well, it-
electricity? Is that?
Yeah, I think that is messed up, the way that's there.
Anyway, we're keeping it at 15.
Yes, we are.
Looks like the actual is 10.7. 10,7,
Yeah.
according to the expense report.
That's, yes. Yes, that's where some of this got. The current year didn't look quite right on this left side, which is why I went to the ACR report.
Okay.
Heating, fuel, propane, then down to the computer systems.
So same thing on the heating fuel. It's probably not really 2,600.
Correct.
Okay.
56.
It's 56.
Oh, okay.
56, 80.
I don't know, probably at the time this came out and I was using it, it was a few months ago. So that's why they're not accurate, because
Okay.
the left side isn't quite, I mean, the warrant is accurate, part of it, and so the request is, we're getting there, accurate as well. That's why I gave you the ACR, so that you can see that for yourself on what we've paid to date, with 1 month left in the budget. Training, miscellaneous, computer software, support services, everything was the same. We dropped the software licenses down a little bit, but technically we left the whole section as is. There was a typo on the workman's comp in the next section. It's not 50,000, it's 20. 3 lines down, so that what you see in bold, in gray, is not 95,000 at the top of that, it's 65,000.
So the liability and the workers' comp have gone down that much?
Well, what we've spent to date, I don't have the ACR.
48.7.
To date,
48.7 is what you spent on the workers' comp.
Oh, thank you. I gave all my copies out. Yeah, yes. 52,000 so far. There's
Right.
credits there that was something that was probably paid in January of this year that really went back to 2023. So that's why you'll see some credits over there that add back into the budget line. Holdover.
But the,
So that probably should not be 42,000, right? Because we've already expended 52, and we haven't gone into December yet. So that should be 57 as well. Let's just stay with the current number.
Well, the liability, you've already spent 48.
Yeah.
I mean,
Work-
sorry, the
liability-
workers' comp.
48.
Sorry.
Yes, yes.
Liability's been 52.
Oh, that's why I made it 50. It wasn't a typo. Thank you.
But then the 42, does that need to change?
Should be back to the 57.
Should be back
Right.
to the 57.
Yes, that 57, yes.
Have we verified with the insurance company that having these cameras will
I don't
help with our?
believe anything
I-
was said at the time. Because they really, it took
A year.
to get them installed. They haven't been in that long.
No, probably 6 months.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah.
So in all of your spare time?
Mm-hmm. All right. Town audit. That's, yeah, we kept that.
That top line
That top line is junk. I don't, that was just a, yeah,
is duplicated.
yeah. So just scratch that out and jump to general miscellaneous.
Stays the same.
So, yes, that stayed the same. The planning board jumped down from there, and the zoning appeals, we didn't do anything with that. Tax maps. Because, the reevaluation isn't going to start until enforced 2026, we kept that line, about where it was. The contract. Yeah, we had spent 14.4, so we're over budget on the contract. So we made it 15 for this year. And the map updates, we left that at 3,000. We put that at 3,000, it was 29.
Why does the ARPA security cameras fall under town tax maps? In the ACR, or the,
Oh, that I don't know. It's a number thing. It's the account number is in the wrong spot.
okay.
That should not be there, Jason, on the ACR. There's a couple other places that the ACR kind of was funky that we looked at some point. That's just one of them. The contract, the reeval. So that's at the very bottom of that page. We are due, I think it was $13.50 that we pay the very first month, but then,
in December.
hang on a second, I have that. I don't want English. Computer, you wanna
Do you
take-
want to keep it? Or you, I'll get out of your way.
I don't want you to need a new computer because of me. How's that? So the contract for the reval total was $264,500. And $21,600, they need 80% by July 2026. So I backed up. The very first payment is $13,225 in November.
Bless you.
And then I took the remainder into 8 equal payments, which was $24,908 monthly. So I just added, that's the December payment, $24,908, to the November payment of $13,225. So that's the number that you're looking at on that line.
So 2026, then we would have the remaining 6 payments?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until the ending.
Yes. Yes. They want, the final payment would be like in July, August, something, that would be the
Of
final one.
2026?
Yes, of 2026.
Yep.
And we kind of figured just regular monthly payments to get us through to that point. Saco River TV,
So-
elections.
Question, the stipulation that we can't commit future funds, how does that work on all of these contracts and payment plans and things like that? Is that, I mean, is there a warrant article that says that the town is gonna vote to spend the full 294, whatever it was, for the reevaluation, and then based on that, you can go enter a contract with these people and then kind of assume that the town is gonna vote for the money for the next few years? I guess similarly relates to,
Yeah, because we talked this
Security
summer with
cameras.
O'Donnell, correct? We talked all summer long,
Yeah.
spring and summer, so that was after the town meeting, was when we talked with them about it. So no, it was not there was no warrant article for 20.
no, I'm saying, is there going to be one that,
That says we're entering into a
I mean,
contract?
what allows the town to enter a contract that's got a 3-year payment plan? I mean, it same goes for any kind of payment plan we get, whether it's a, fire truck. I mean, we had the thing with the loader, but we had to vote on that money to spend every year. Yeah, I mean, but is there a warrant article? I mean, with the loader, I think there was a warrant article that we're gonna enter into a bond so that, I mean, without committing funds, it kind of committed you have to vote yes on it in the future. So I guess, is there a warrant article for, do
This
we
is
do a reevaluation?
This is a lot like our curbside trash pickup contract. The select board just needs to enter into the contract. We just need the approval of the townspeople for the budget to actually enter, have the money available for that contract. Does that make sense?
So basically it has.
Yes and no.
So you basically don't,
By approving the warrant article for the budget, you are approving for the reevaluation. But this reevaluation has to happen.
Yeah.
If it does not, the town loses state funding. We need to bring the value of everyone's houses into line with what the state guidelines say they should be.
I get that.
Okay? Sorry,
So it kinda-
maybe I'm talking down. I'm not trying to. I
No,
apologize.
no, you're fine. I'm just,
Conceptually.
conceptually, it's like,
Conceptually, how do we enter into a contract? Like, do we need to put?
The select board would have to,
Okay.
would,
So the select
without the
board-
funds.
Right.
And then,
the funds are confirmed at the town meeting.
Right.
by
but
the
only
vote.
1 year's of the funds.
yes.
Right, yeah, no, it would definitely be determinant upon the vote of the townspeople at each one of those town meetings, but it's in relation to the approval of the budget.
So if the town's folks were against the cost of the garbage, garbage pickup, curbside pickup, that the selectmen approved, they could deny it, and then the selectmen would have to go and find a place to do it for this amount of money.
We'd have to redo the budget, essentially.
The contract, and, I mean, they might give you, let's say they approve the budget for 20,000 less, or 200,000 less, or whatever it is, then you'd have to go out and find it, because we need curbside pickup.
Right,
And if we couldn't find it, then
but the
There's no
town
curbside
voted,
pickup.
the town already voted for curbside pickup, so.
for 1 year to, right, I'm just saying,
Right,
if
but-
they thought it was too expensive, because I know the new company was way more expensive than the old company. But if they just,
The curbside pickup company,
yeah,
it's not more expensive.
then.
It's more expensive than it used to be.
That's what I'm saying.
But the company that we were using were going to charge us more than what Mellon's is charging us right now.
For the
that's
new,
why
for the
we-
new contract.
That's why we
Yeah.
switched to Mellon, because they were cheaper.
Okay.
Yeah. But we're getting off topic.
But yeah, I would think the town would have, I mean, I think the people approving it would have to, I don't know when it ever happens that they don't approve the contracts, the 3-year
Well, I
contract.
Like
mean,
we were talking
we had
about.
to
That ever-
redo the budget last year on the fly at the meeting for the town hall. I'm not sure if you remember that, but the townsfolk
Contract?
turned down the budget proposal for general town operations, and we were forced to operate this year
on the year before's general town budget, which put us in a predicament because we needed the people to amend their vote to allow for the clerks to get their raises. That was complicated.
So conceptually, the town could vote for it this year and not vote for it the following year, and then we have to figure out where we're gonna get the money from.
It is, I mean, yes, it is possible. It is possible that way. I mean, once we entered into the contract, we would obviously have to fulfill the contract, but if the budget for the following year wasn't approved, then we'd have to, reduce it to what the people wanted while still keeping the reevaluation.
Right.
The reevaluation has to happen. It just has to.
So I guess that's what comes back to my question is, should there be a warrant article
It's not needed.
that says,
You commit.
It's not needed, and this needs to happen.
Yeah. No, I don't think anybody doubts it needs to happen.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's just the process.
Right, yeah. Just approval of the budget.
and I'm not talking about just the reevaluation. I'm talking about a security camera system, all of these things that are sort of committing us to future payments, but nobody ever asked the taxpayers if they wanted to do that officially.
I mean, if you want to get into the security cameras more, you think, we've had a lot of vandalism over the past couple of years.
No, there should just be a mechanism.
You don't need to argue that with
all right,
me.
all right.
It's the taxpayers that have to pay the $40,000 now that, and they were never asked whether or not they wanted to do that.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
The
It's-
issue is the wisdom of the decision.
Right,
It's
it's
the
just,
mechanics of it.
it's
The
the,
best process.
it's the process of it, and it's things that were just done without anybody ever saying, hey, do we want to do this?
We did discuss the security cameras at great length. I don't have all of that memorized as to the process, but it was paid. The initial contract was paid for with ARPA funds. The town needed these security cameras. We've had security cameras in the past, but the cameras that we've had in the past were either damaged, destroyed, vandalized, or in one particular case, altered by an actual employee. I can't go into any more details than that. But they were needed. Did the select board ask the town to confirm the purchase of the cameras? I can't say that they did. I can't remember.
No, they didn't.
There's a lot of gray area.
I'm pretty sure of that. And I've just,
We have select.
Because select board has to run the town.
right. And for the most part, I understand that, but I've also seen in the past where it's like, we're gonna build a building. Does the town want to take out a loan to build a building, which commits them to repaying the loan? And there's a warrant article for that. Same thing with, I think, when we bought the loader, it was like, do we want to buy the loader or, whatever it was, and, commit you to that future fund. And there was kind of the town was at least asked if they wanted to do that. And I'm just wondering, if they don't need to ask us, they don't need to ask us, I guess. But I just wanted to pose the question.
There's a few instances like that.
Yeah.
You made a good point. You could just have a warrant article out of the general fund, but still make the payments. That way it's one lump sum, and the people are voting on the total, but you're still making your payments.
Yeah.
That'd be the easiest way to take care of that problem.
So have a warrant article for the
Warrant
entire
article for the
sum.
full amount, but
And
you're
then
still
you
gonna
just dole it
continue.
out as it
Bingo.
goes.
You're still
Yeah.
gonna use,
And that's,
but then they're approving the whole meal deal.
but that's sort of what we do with the school budget every year, right? Is we approve however many millions of dollars that is, and then you guys approve it every month or week or whatever it is that it
Yeah,
comes
we make
out
our
and
payments.
make your payments. Yeah.
I think that's a good idea.
And I think that's-
in terms of transparency for the town.
Yeah, because then they're all on board. There's nothing hidden, nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's all one shot, even though we're still making the payments.
yeah.
And
They've approved it up front.
Yeah, similar to what we did with the the old gym up there? Is it's like, here's $45,000, we're gonna pay for it over the next 3 years, or, whatever it is.
The problem with that is it gives the people the idea that this is optional. This is not optional. A reevaluation has to take place. And if they don't approve the warrant article, they're gonna be causing themselves more trouble than otherwise.
I think that comes down.
I mean, it is-
That comes down to an educational standpoint for the individuals that are voting at that time. I think that's when, it needs to, the meeting needs to stop and be like, this is why this article is important, and this is
What's the
why.
ramifications of it?
Correct.
Right.
What's
Yeah,
the
every-
ramifications
You don't get
of it
your
if you
tax
don't
money
do
from
it?
the
I mean,
state.
as far as
Every-
MMA is concerned, it only needs to be included into the budget. Like I said, if you give them this warrant article and they deny it, the town is in a terrible situation.
I don't believe, my honest opinion with the town, I mean, if you put it to the people of the town and said, listen, right now you are currently at the realm of Falmouth and Scarborough's tax rate, and this reevaluation is gonna bring you back down to where you belong.
Yeah.
I think, in talking with most of the townspeople I see, they all want this.
I was gonna say, we wanna be
This is
careful with
gonna
that wording
benefit
though, because
probably
it might not
2/3.
bring them down.
Well, I mean, there's people like with brand new houses, myself is probably gonna hurt me, but on the flip side, most 2/3 of the town, I think, is gonna benefit by the reeval.
Yeah.
And it's gonna bring it back down where it should be, rather than their houses doubling overnight, it shouldn't have done that.
But those numbers don't mean anything if your tax bill doesn't go up and down. It's just a numbers game.
Right, it's exactly.
So, I mean, nobody uses an appraisal to determine the value of your house.
Yeah.
You shouldn't.
Yeah.
The town assessment, I should say.
But like
Use a
you
real
said,
appraisal.
It does have to happen, because the end result is loss of
Yeah,
funding.
Right, and that's the thing, is that
We just gotta push it to the people.
there isn't
That's
a,
all it is to it.
there isn't a have to do this, it's, you really should do this, otherwise these are the consequences. Because the town people,
Yeah.
they could say no, I mean, that wouldn't be in their best interest, but
Right.
if you explain to them why they need to say yes, then it's,
it's the trouble with democracy.
And I'm just curious, without digging through, like, order of magnitude, how much is the state funding? Is it $1 million?
We'd have to check with the clerk's office to give you an accurate number on that.
But
probably have
ballpark,
that.
just,
I can't tell you.
okay. Because I think that will be helpful too, if we're gonna spend 300, it's to keep.
Wasn't it $56,000 this year?
I don't know.
I think we got 56,000, or 156,000 from
Yeah.
Like a certain
no,
amount here.
it's not, it's in that tax calculation.
This one?
Yep. Right? Is it not on here? Total taxable value.
And we don't have to, I guess, my only point is just when it comes time for talking to the town about this, I understand that we need to do it, but I think it would be helpful for people to understand.
So we're talking about the
What's the
homestead
funding that's
exemption
coming?
rate.
Well, certainly, COVID drove everybody's homes values up,
Revenue
because
share.
so many people were moving to Maine, right? That it hurt, and people were bidding outrageous amounts for homes, which drove valuations up in many towns. And unfortunately, when our valuation went up 2 years ago, that tells the state, then you ought to be paying, you're valued at this much now, and that affects your county taxes, and it affects your school taxes. That's why Limington was one of the highest, in the district.
So in
Last year.
2024, the anticipated state municipal revenue sharing was $225,000. But it also affects homestead, right? If we're too far out on our valuation?
It's a percent.
You have to keep 75 or 85% of the true value. That's why they did,
Right.
that's why they did
Yes.
that.
So it affects your,
Evaluation.
it affects your revenue sharing, but I think it also affects the homestead reimbursement. And the homestead reimbursement is $24 million. Deduction,
state.
it's, Which one?
Oh,
That
right,
one?
24 million out of
It's 24
680,000,
Yeah,
690.
it takes it off your total evaluation.
yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of
It's a significant,
and, yeah.
it's a big number. I think.
So it's
the-
whatever
I think
your
the
mill
big
rate
thing
is on the
just
24.
The transparency. to-
Absolutely.
It also affects
Right.
LRAP.
Okay.
What is that?
LRAP, that's the
Local
fund that we
roads.
use for-
Account,
Sorry,
money
what-
we get back from the state for shared roads.
Oh, is that the, they call it something else?
We used to call
right?
it block grant.
Block grant.
Yeah. I just think it'll be really helpful for people to understand sort of what's tied to this reevaluation in
Yeah.
dollars and cents on an annual basis.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's just going to put everybody on a level playing field once they come in and see everybody's homes and do it correctly. It's just gonna, it hasn't been done in such a long time, that it's really necessary.
right.
And-
It's supposed to be every 10,
So
right?
it's supposed to be every 10, so,
Yes.
so the state doesn't penalize you necessarily by not doing it?
As long as your property values are close to where theirs are. It's
That
only-
was the issue. The gap was widening,
Right.
Yeah.
and so, kinda,
Well, and that was the thing with the percentage-based reevaluation that they did, is it got it within that gap, so.
well, what was the gap?
I think
And then some.
I don't think any of us are questioning whether this needs to happen.
Right,
It obviously
right.
needs to happen.
Yeah.
How it should happen, it's my opinion that it should be presented to the town, and that it's important to present it in a way that helps people understand, which will take a little bit of work.
Are
That
we-
this is, and,
We paying for it now?
no.
No.
Our first payment would be next November.
Next November, okay.
But if we present it saying, this, we get this much back from the state, we will be penalized we will get less back from the state if we're not in line with their numbers. And we did this kind of approximation 2 years ago. Now we're trying to level it all out to be fair
We're
to
trying to
everybody.
correct it, yeah.
It seems,
I think it's gonna be an easy sell, because the people that'll be here in March are the ones that are,
a few of them are gonna vote no to everything.
well, that could be.
Yeah.
Hmm?
What's
It
that?
was presented and explained to us at the last meeting,
Yeah.
as a pub, so they're aware of it, we're all aware of it.
Yeah,
Are you for it or against? Let's take a show of hands.
God, don't do that. We're not voting at this meeting.
We're not voting.
Everybody here is happy for it.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, where are we here with this?
Down to elections.
Yeah.
So the bottom line of that is that you need $38,000 for next year's
Yeah.
budget payments on
Yes.
that valuation.
That's it.
End of discussion.
For now.
The election's pretty self-explanatory. That was, and legal services. Dues, fees, subscriptions, that was very small increase, very small.
Is Saco River TV,
That's missing.
There's a line there.
That's, that's Ben's budget. Isn't he gonna present that?
There's an SRTV under zoning appeals board and financial advisory.
Yeah, I think it's around.
It's a good spot.
is it in another spot?
It's on the last, second to last page.
Yep.
Yeah, SRTV assessment.
It's under our budget.
Oh, is it?
On,
SRTV, so
which
is that
form?
decreasing?
Financial advisory committee.
on this one.
Second to last page.
I
Yeah,
skipped
so
it because-
it's actually, so it's not in the, I don't think it's in the budget numbers, because
Right.
it got skipped.
On purpose?
Request.
Did it get skipped on purpose?
It's in the wrong spot.
Is it,
It's just in the wrong spot because of the code, because of the accounting line.
right, but, right.
In a different spot?
But the request for, in both spots is zero, correct?
It was 18,700.
Yeah, and the request this year is nothing.
Is zero.
Right, it's zero.
Because
Oh,
that,
yeah.
it's in the wrong spot.
Where's the other spot? I only see one.
The top of the last
Yes,
page,
that's TV right
it
here.
has 29, the current
So
year
it's that
warrant
one.
is 29,908.
Well, that's not the,
Oh.
that's not the
So,
dollars
okay.
though, because I think I had copied that into a line, closed off the other ones, just for the formatting, you
Yeah.
know, and then didn't correct the numbers.
21,697.34.
That's what we've spent so far?
So far, as of November 30.
All right, so the 18,700 that was allotted for, we're over?
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, it looks like it was allotted 29,908.
Oh, wow.
We spent 21,697.
Well, then the left side of this is, this year's is not as accurate as we would hope to be.
But the department request column, the request is zero
It's
in
showing
both,
zero.
In both
in
places.
both places.
Yeah.
So is it the 29,908?
I would stay with the 29,908.
Right,
I
yes.
don't think they're gonna change much.
Right.
Oh, and the number's pretty consistent, because that's straight down to the nearest dollar.
What do we gotta do to get out of that?
We can't.
Can't.
Like everything
Why?
else is zero.
It's complicated.
Yeah. We met with them. And I think it'll cost you more and headache, honestly, to try to deviate from them with what they offer. We did sit and meet with them
We
for,
did meet with them. We don't have all the information, but if you'd like, you can certainly call up Saco River TV. It's complicated, but they own a lot of transmission lines. They have worked a lot with public access to get us access. We need cable access so
Gotta
that
have-
we can
they
televise
just
our
fought and
meetings.
got us back on even streaming. I mean, like, right now, you click on channel 2 on the Spectrum app, we're there. And channel 5, channel 7, so that was all they're doing as well. So, what they offer and what we're getting, because originally I thought it was high. And then I sat with them, and I think it's fair,
So
and I honestly do.
I'm just curious, is there a mandate to televise?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay, there is a mandate to televise.
yes.
Okay.
Is it to televise on cable TV?
The state requires that we broadcast our meetings to the public. The way that is facilitated is through public access through Saco River Television.
And the streaming doesn't count?
The streaming is also through them.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be, right?
Doesn't have to.
But then you probably need someone full-time to deal with the website every week.
The general census and the poll, just talking to people in the town, most of them have come back and said, I watch it on cable and I ain't deviating because I don't have internet.
Well,
So-
they're not app savvy, you know.
Right, so that's where I was going. I was asking
Yeah,
if
a
it's
lot of
mandated, because if it's mandated, then we have to do it. If it's not, the town people have to decide whether they want to spend $30,000 on it in the vote.
Well,
We have to show it.
It is mandated.
$30,000 isn't what we're giving Saco River TV. That's the 18 on the assessment. The 18.7 is what we're paying them. The rest of it is more directly related to in-house.
Why is it 29,908?
We paid out 21,697.34 as of November's ACR
Yeah, but not all the Saco River.
to Saco River.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to them.
I thought that was everything to put it on, not just, because the assessment from Saco River is only 18.7. Right?
That's what you were just saying, right?
You've got in here a wage hourly, that's the guy in the back room. Yeah,
Yeah,
That's-
and
well,
then
that's
we have equipment that breaks down on occasion.
right. That's what I'm saying. That's the in-house stuff. But the 18.7 is what goes down the street to Saco River TV.
Correct.
Right.
Okay. Yeah,
So not all of that 29 is going to Saco River.
No, I think he was saying 18.7 goes, or 18.5
18.7.
A little bit over that even. I think we're over right now. But then, yeah, the rest of it is in-house.
You know, we got some things on this that it's like your tax bill comes, you don't have any choice, you pay it. And then other things here where,
Discretionary.
as Financial Advisory Committee, we should be saying, maybe, but if it's a bill that comes in, nothing we can do, right?
Well, not use the service.
But we're required to use the service,
Right.
have to do it.
Well, that was the question, and it didn't seem like that we really were required to stream it, but
But that's the service we use to stream it on cable.
right.
So you would have to take into consideration basically part or full-timer in there, upgrading a lot of networking, and, I mean, I think you're gonna spend more
You will.
trying to upgrade that room and do it ourselves than what we're doing here.
This is a contract that the town has had for a long time. It is a beneficial service to us. So I'm not sure why we're spending so much time going over this particular aspect. We're getting into the weeds with discussing the minute details of a single line item.
No, we've certainly had longer discussions over smaller amounts of money.
Right, and is that really productive?
So,
Well, people have questions and people want answers. So.
But the townspeople, sounds like they want cable, so.
Well, and
Well,
that's,
we discussed that before. We wanted to see how many people use cable, how many people use internet, right? It's very difficult because if they're not using internet, they're not gonna go on the town website and say, you know, I use cable. It's very difficult to try to get the demographic of the town and the people on what they use to view. So it's not easy.
and if they view it later, nobody knows.
Correct.
Okay, you can go home on Channel 2 and I could rewatch this
Yeah, it's gonna,
tomorrow evening
yeah,
at 7.
because
Yeah.
They just keep
they keep playing. Yeah, they keep
Right,
playing.
or on your computer,
You can go to YouTube and watch it as well.
yep.
that you'll know if they're viewing it, but,
Are you sure about that?
yeah, because
It
how
tells
many
you how many
views?
views.
Yeah.
It tells you how many
Okay.
views. Cable
That's how
never
these
does.
YouTubers make thousands and billions of dollars, is how many clicks they get.
Well, if you go to see how many
Just think
views,
we
then
could monetize
you're gonna
this.
say more people watch it by cable
Yeah.
than on internet.
All right, where are we here?
So is there going to be an updated spreadsheet or something
There
with an
sure
updated?
is.
Okay, with an updated total, yeah,
There
great.
sure is.
Because they're, yeah,
Yeah, yes,
okay, great,
correct.
thanks.
So, because, yeah, on the left, the actual spend is not correct. It's months ago. right?
Okay,
You're not even, that's why I gave you the ACRs, so that you could see what we've spent so far.
Yeah.
Because this on the left isn't accurate,
yeah,
so. But it would have taken longer to transpose all of that information into here, which I will do once we get another week under our belt, so that we can, when we do our workshop,
yes,
we'll see it like it is.
okay, great. Good.
Anything else on the municipal general town operations?
The legal fees, I just, the 23,500 that we've spent this year, do you have some indication of how much of that is an hourly rate versus a settlement?
That's all hourly rate.
That's
Legal.
all hourly
It's
rate.
all hourly
Billed
rate,
hourly.
yeah.
So any settlements would be in a different line item,
Yeah, I
if
know.
there were any?
If there were any. Mhm.
So just in terms of what's left for this evening, are we going over Public Works?
We are. I
Okay.
have those
And
sheets
then
for you.
there's some other matters as well.
Oh, okay, for you guys?
No,
No, you said you
No,
wanted
said
to.
that you had-
You said at the end.
Yeah.
Yes, from this, okay,
Yeah.
yes.
We have
They're-
mine.
they're up
there's
here,
a
Tammy.
step.
Right here.
Tammy's up here. They're up here.
But I had
Yeah.
short.
Tammy,
There's a
They're
bunch
up
here.
here.
Tammy,
Oh,
there's a whole stack of them.
what did you ask about?
Fixed assets. Awesome.
See how I did that? Come get it, you bet.
This is perfect.
Oh, sorry.
Great.
mother.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You guys all set?
Yes. You guys all have one?
Oh, great.
Oh, look at that.
What did I do now?
Uh-oh, what do you want?
I don't know, he's going, oh, look at that. So he's worrying me already.
The asset listing.
No, just that somebody asked for this and they got it. But
That's what we're here for.
this group is, yes. Just hasn't always been that way in the past. And I appreciate it,
Thank you.
very much so.
We appreciate that you appreciate it.
A lot of love in this room.
Yes, there is. Okay,
Public Works.
so there may be a few unknowns in here. We'll get to them when we get to them, so. Payroll. You can see that we dropped that just a little bit for next year.
Is that fewer people or?
Well, there's one less in the department right now,
Yeah.
has been for a few months, so.
Okay.
And we don't know if anything else, will change. So we're just gonna leave it like that for now.
Okay.
And the plowing request is down?
Yeah,
We got a weather forecast?
well, I don't even know why that plowing was in there. I think that was the subcontract, maybe line that we used. So, I don't even know if that number is necessary, honestly. So that may not be a line we use after we do the workshop.
So the guys get paid extra,
They do.
You get
Is that what-
hourly wage for
yeah,
plowing.
They get paid a higher hourly
Yes.
wage for
Yeah.
plowing than they do a normal
right.
public works job.
And so is that what that line is?
No, that's why it's
Okay.
Because it's still all payroll.
it's payroll.
Yeah, so it should,
Yep.
whatever the hourly wage is.
I believe that was for a contract to have lots plowed by an individual.
Right.
That used to.
Yeah.
Yeah, with
50.
no long
But that's
package.
not happening this
Okay.
coming year.
So that probably is gonna just go
We
away.
could probably just do away with that line, yes, but, yes. Because that's been a recent, change.
Okay.
The contracts, I don't know. There's been, I don't think there's been any money out of,
Looks like it's 6250.
yeah.
So, 60.
So I don't know what the contract is. I don't know, is that iWorks or anything else that we're doing?
Which contract?
6,500.
Is
$6,500.
65 and it said 6250 we've used. So
I'm
I-
not sure which contracts
You're
it's
probably
for,
right,
sorry.
because there's no dues, fees, and contracts line, so it might be.
Yeah,
It would be high work.
the iWorks,
Yeah.
yeah.
That wouldn't be similar to the gas bottle thing.
This is a laptop program
This program
for
this-
the
to
town,
track everything for the public.
tracking
works.
expenses. I kept the FICA the same, the employee retirement the same, health insurance the same, no equipment, supplies. We kept all most everything here carried the same numbers right on down through.
So depending on like who that position is, that one less role probably would be a little positive impact to these as well.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, yes, all of
Correct.
the above.
Yeah.
What would lump into new equipment? Is that just like the small, like small loaders and stuff like that?
New equipment.
Yeah, 'cause you've got,
Chainsaws, whackers, probably stuff, I'm assuming, but they would use pole saws,
yeah.
stuff like that.
Anything that wears out.
Looks like they've only used 2,800
Mm-hmm.
for a while.
Yeah.
So, do we need 28,000 in there?
Yeah,
Right.
probably
Right.
could reduce that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Cut it in half at least.
10,000?
10 was what I was thinking, Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we spent 2,900.
Right. But you just don't know. I mean.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, I mean, that can vary year to year,
Yeah.
for sure, but.
Yeah, I'm sure it was higher than that last year.
But you've also got supplies and tools.
My shop too.
And then materials, there might be a little more to trim there too.
Okay.
Year to date is 16.
It's, yes. And I don't even know what the materials would be.
Gravel?
Is that the same as all?
No, that's down below.
that's
Yeah.
Well, outside of winter sand.
Big gravel.
I like,
Road
yeah,
gravel.
for grading roads.
Hot
the
top.
Dirt roads, that.
Patch.
hot top.
But that's what I meant by
Oh,
hot
okay.
top.
and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
coal patch.
So should it go down to 20?
Yeah, well, then I don't know. I guess that we'd have to know,
Where's the
would we
average?
have done, right, would we have
16.6.
done more this year? Maybe we,
Right,
for some reason, we couldn't get to it. Who knows?
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Miscellaneous hasn't had anything spent out of it.
We just don't want to lower it so that then, when it's out,
2 years.
they have to come back
That's
to
the
a special
question.
town meeting.
It's hard to know
Yeah.
exactly what the need is
Yeah,
from time to time. I mean, if you had a severe weather event, too, that could impact.
yeah.
Which we did in April. We probably had a lot of roads washed out. You know, like maybe it's more the state roads, ditches and stuff. I'm sure there was a lot of damage. I'm sure the Public Works had to do a lot of tree work
Yeah,
So
in April, May.
phones should probably be increased, right?
Since it was over.
because it's over, yes.
I mean, they spent 34.
Yeah,
Right.
So maybe
And there's-
take miscellaneous down just a hair to offset that.
there you go. I like that. You want to go down to 5?
5, yeah, if we go 5K there, and then you can go 3750.
3750. Mm-hmm.
So equipment maintenance is also fleet maintenance, right?
Equipment maintenance.
Or
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
no?
That was hard because you can see how a lot of things were put down under each truck,
Yeah,
right? So,
There should be a total on your expense.
well,
summary.
there is, it's 36.5, but again, that is not, probably not up to date.
Yeah,
looks like roughly those numbers would add up though, to 36.
Right, but I'm saying, what's your ACR saying?
right.
Yeah, you'd have to add all that up.
Actually,
Oh, does it roll up to a,
No, no.
No.
in the
It
ACR?
well, it comes up with an equipment maintenance that's 16,749, but I
All
don't
right,
know
so
what that is.
that's all the numbers that are below it then.
But then what's the 36?
Well, it's,
You can't add up the whole thing.
Yeah, that doesn't.
18, no, it's higher than that, Jason. that equipment maintenance. That might be just trucks that aren't not on this list anymore.
Looks like it was debits of 16,402, so they took in, and then credits of 42 for a WEG, negative 11,446.67. Adjusted debit 4,141.44.
What
That's just on a
numbers
different page.
are you looking at?
Sorry.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I don't see any of those numbers.
Oops. Is that yours? You making numbers off that, or?
That,
You
yeah,
had
that's
those up.
okay. No, that's the town one.
Let me
Yep.
see, I think I got a couple more here.
So I got a question about the maintenance on truck 14.
Yes.
Is that a truck that, what are the check marks on this? There are check marks on the side?
Oh, that was for me, and I
Okay.
just gave you a copy of mine.
So we got a truck that, to replace it costs $58,000.
Yeah.
It's a 2004, and we spent almost $10,000 trying to help it limp along.
Yes, indeed. More than one conversations on that truck.
Okay,
Well, wait a minute, that $58,000 was what we paid for it. That was what it was in 2004.
okay,
To replace
Oh, that-
that is probably more like 200
okay,
or
Probably like
400.
350,
Yeah.
400, yeah,
okay.
Yes,
for a new one.
yeah, exactly. So this cost new was when they booked it,
Got it.
booked the asset. We don't have,
Yeah,
we don't have book
We bought that
value.
used.
Yeah, okay. We don't have book value on this.
Okay. That clears up my
So
misunderstanding. One
actual
of 'em.
year-to-date per this spreadsheet for equipment maintenance down to the used brine system maintenance is $36,538.
Yes,
Is
So
what?
it is,
it's that gray,
So-
bold
so
number.
it's this bold number here.
Right.
So from here to here is this bold number here.
Okay.
These numbers are not included up in that number.
Yeah, I don't
So
know
it
the
is-
equipment maintenance, why that line is so high.
Is-
I don't, maybe POs came in without a line charge.
Or is
For a
it,
specific
what did
truck.
you add up?
Maybe it was multiple,
So
you know.
Kind of
on
a,
this
it's kind of a general
to
equipment
this
maintenance, maybe.
Yes,
is
yeah.
36.
We'll call it that.
Okay,
Or, yeah, no.
so it
specific
includes the
program.
equipment and the trucks?
Yeah.
And we don't, without knowing what it's gonna cost to put into these trucks another year, right?
yeah, it's guessing.
So we need you guys to
Well, and that's the,
advocate for
Yeah.
the 5-year plan to give us
Yeah,
and that's the
something.
thing, is that the truck that Steve was just questioning is the newest plow truck in the fleet, with the exception of the two 550s, is that correct? I mean, it's still not new, I understand that, but it's the newest of the bigger plow trucks. Truck 14.
Well, I'm wondering now if that equipment maintenance, would that be truck 5, which is the red?
Truck 14 's the
Equipment maintenance is the generic for everything that gets worked on,
Right,
So
without a line,
all
well,
the
yeah,
small
yeah.
engines and
But truck 5 is a
The one
normal,
with the bad body.
correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
The orange one that came from
Yes.
Westport, which is, and it's the newest truck in the fleet, with the exception of the 550s.
The Mac?
The International.
No,
Mac
but
is-
I'm the Mac, truck 6. How old is that?
That's a 2002. The one we're talking about is a 2004.
Okay.
And then the other thing to consider is that if we put $10,000 into it this year, next year it may not cost us much at all.
or it could cost us more.
Or it could die on
Absolutely.
the road.
And any one of these trucks could cost us 20 grand in maintenance next year, because if it loses a transmission or a motor or something in the road, that's $40,000. I mean,
Right.
you have no idea.
Yeah.
Really, we need to leave that figure where,
But the other thing to consider is that some of these trucks, the only thing that they do is plow snow.
Yes, yes. The Mac is currently Well, not really now.
No, Mac,
5,
you can use
the Mac, is used for roads, and so is the 5, the red,
the new one.
yep, because that dumps.
Yeah, and again, you know, the 75 is a budget number. I mean, if you don't,
75 grand?
yeah.
That truck 6 don't even exist, is what I'm under the impression.
Truck 6 is the black Mac.
Is that,
Yeah, truck 6 is the
okay,
black Mac.
so I take that back. That- With that being said.
For some reason, all of the money is on truck 6. I don't
Well,
know.
that's it. And end result, it's already got a new rear end, because he blew it up in the last storm of,
So that's probably part of the 3,500 that we actually spent.
yeah,
on.
yeah. So, I mean, cutting that seems like an awful lot of money.
75
The
does.
70,
I mean,
the $75,000 isn't associated to that truck.
No, that's the
That's
total.
a that's a sort of a
That's
typo.
grouping all of them together.
Right.
I would shave that. I don't know. That
What's
just
your
seems
best
like-
guess, Jason?
What's that?
What's your
50?
40,
40?
50.
I mean, well, year-to-date, you've spent 36.
Yeah.
And just with inflation, I'd go,
But
I wouldn't go below
what they put
50.
into these in the last,
You wouldn't,
I wouldn't go below 50 too. Because the thing is that they're a year older. I know we've put some money into them, but these are 20-plus-year-old trucks.
Well, and the other question is, I mean, there's been a lot of talk about replacement. So when you replace a truck, presumably,
Right.
there's less maintenance costs. So are we thinking about replacement? I know we're thinking about it, but
Yeah?
Like, yeah, where are we at in
The
that
Mac,
spectrum?
I think, needs to be replaced.
yes, I think right now we're in talks with the old fire truck. That is, he wants to progress with that, so I think it's they're looking at a current budget of 13 to 15 grand to get us another truck like the other fire truck down there.
the
Yeah, because we've already got the body, we just gotta find,
so it's, you said 13, 15, let's use 15.
let's use 15.
So
as a-
15,000, we could have a truck, another truck that's ready to go, new body.
Body, yeah, we already own the body. We're gonna lose selling one of the good blueberries, or the internet, is it internationals? I call it the blueberry.
Good blueberry.
Well, the only good one down there, because we gotta pull it all apart to put it on the new truck,
Yeah.
so,
Well, let's be honest, at auction, that truck
yeah.
is a scrap of metal that you're gonna take to CIA, but
But if we can get another truck,
it's 30 years old or whatever it is.
Right.
It's been used for plowing its whole life.
but if you figure if we decrease this number to 50, you've got $15,000, so to speak, to finish that truck, then we're basically at where we've spent year-to-date.
well, no, that's already allotted
The
money
15
for.
is, that's
He's got
capital.
$16,000 in a different account
That's
already
from
for that.
capital.
Oh, that's from capital.
3 years,
Okay.
2-3 years ago
Yeah,
when we
they've already,
voted.
yeah, they're on the second year, so they've already got, per se, the money to finish that truck, as long as he stays within the budget.
Yeah.
So if we put 50,000 in there for maintenance, that gives us a little cushion.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'd hate to go down
Yeah.
too much and then have it be over budget,
right.
so.
I'd recommend 60, but this is their presentation, though. The back and forth is next week, right?
Correct.
All right.
Because you've also got trucks that, like you said, that are getting older. I mean, the 550s are getting, so they're, one of them's a 19, that's 6 years old on a 1-ton.
I
But
mean, salt and subcontracting are really high compared to the expenses. Is that,
If I remember correctly, we had like a surplus from the previous year, so last year we didn't have to buy as much. Does that sound right?
Because end of every season, we stock up on the salt, so that it's ready for the.
Yeah.
okay, so we may not be seeing the expenses yet.
But
Well,
if
didn't they
there
just
was
buy
some money,
salt?
like,
Yeah, they just
I
stockpile
mean, it
salt.
happens regularly throughout the whole season.
Right.
Yeah. They just filled that down there.
Oh, okay, so then,
So I
let's
don't
see.
know if this is, if we're seeing like the
I
actual.
don't, yeah.
You're not seeing the
They
actual
paid
cost
that out
yet.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. So here in the ECR, ESR? Yeah, it's actually 39,000 spent. Oh, no, that's in here.
No, that's 39. But I think throughout the month of December, we're gonna see that.
Increase. Okay.
But it's not gonna get to 85.
No.
Doesn't seem-
Well, I don't know.
I mean, who knows, with all that black ice out there, who knows?
It's gonna rain for the next week, too. Yeah, I mean,
And then what about subcontracting? That's really, I mean, the actual is 3,800 against a budget of 20.
That I do
What is
not
that
know.
subcontracting?
I don't know what is on that line. I'd have to go into,
there used to be, he hired out like some small paving jobs and things like that, I know. Grading was, but now we've got a grader. Could be it was just something that never got cut.
And paving is also a contract line for what you're talking about, like when you change
Yeah.
culverts and stuff, they patch smaller jobs.
We do that in-house, do we do that in-house, or, We haven't.
Size of the job.
yeah, yeah, and I think that's what I meant by, I think he hires out some of the small paving things that, obviously he hasn't done much of it this year, but,
I think they did most of it themselves this year, because it was hard to get a contractor to do
yeah.
it, so they did a lot themselves through the department. Did you guys want to touch the sand? Do you want, maybe, when we come back, we'll have a better number?
Yeah.
I think we need
I'll
a better
highlight that and
number.
use it, get a better number for us to
Yeah.
look
Yeah.
at.
Good.
That's the thing is, I mean, those budgeting for products that are weather dependent.
Right.
Well, we don't want to under budget.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
easy enough, probably, it's easy enough to pull money from other line items in that budget. If we get to December, when we run out of salt money, you could, because, I mean, you're voting on
The whole.
the public
the
works,
whole-
roads and
Right.
highways or
Yes,
whatever. So it's like if
exactly.
it goes over in salt because it's a slippery December,
There's
it's,
hopefully some other lines that are under. that-
right.
Yep.
So we have
Not that you want to plan on that, but,
we have subcontracting with 20,000, and we've only spent 38. And then we have, under the paving, which I know it is, well, we have $50,000 per contract, but we haven't spent anything,
Right, but we're over on asphalt too.
but we're over on asphalt.
Yes.
So those two are probably okay, but that's why I was, yeah, I think maybe we can trim subcon,
The asphalt go hand in hand,
yeah.
because if I remember correctly, it was 525.
Yes, it was.
Contract last
The
year,
total,
which is the
yeah.
475 and the 50.
Yeah.
And should
Okay.
that not go up a little bit, because everything goes up?
Yeah, I mean, they came in a little bit higher, and Sean, I guess, tried cutting a little here, cutting a little there to get it back down.
Yeah,
But the asphalt is been relatively same price.
is it?
Yeah,
It's-
well,
It's gonna go down because petroleum prices are going
Right,
down.
right.
Right.
Right now, we're at a high.
And most of our roads are good now, so you're
Hmm.
in less reconstruction and more maintenance.
right, because.
So you don't need as
was
much.
for 525, and he's only spent 485.
I had written down somewhere, and it wasn't on this one, I guess, as a question for maybe 350 for asphalt next year.
Do we know what roads need to be paved?
That's another good question.
For next year?
Driving around and just eyeballing right now. A lot of them, like Emil says, are in pretty decent shape. The subdivisions right now are like not great. Stonecrest, I know that there's not very many houses down there, but they're patching it, and I think that could use some work.
Are
But that's,
those, are those town
roads or those road associations?
No,
where-
they're town roads that we plow, yeah. And,
And maintain.
Whispering
is-
Pines, I
That's the
think,
thing in the airport roads, which is.
yeah,
Pines,
Whispering
that-
Pines needs work. And I tried to do the mileage, I didn't bring my little piece of paper here tonight, on the roads that we did this year. And the roads, like Stonecrest is like .3, maybe it's .1 in there. It's either 1 or .1 or .3, I can't remember, because we did a couple other small places too.
It's probably not a one-to-one conversion, though. Every time they gotta pick up and move all their equipment, it's probably a cost too. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
It's like
yes.
pave 5 miles of road or
Correct.
5 one-mile
Yes,
sections is
exactly.
probably a little bit of a difference,
Yeah,
but,
well, I mean, Whispering Pines is a big place, so that would be,
right,
you
yeah.
know.
I mean, my opinion
Stonecrest
is,
is the only little place, really, that, you know, we have that could possibly need help with it. And, you know, maybe not this year, but, you know, probably in the next 2. Because if you're patching right now, and, I mean, snowstorms, even if you're getting piddly things, you're probably doing more damage on a piddly storm, because you're dragging, you know, just a little bit of slush across tar. So that's not helping the roads any either, when you,
So is paving sort of like this whole asphalt and contract? Isn't that kind of like our capital expense budget, right? There's just always kind of a regular investment that you're going to need to
Correct.
make because you got to
It's the
keep
roads.
going. It's the roads, and
Yeah.
you got to keep going over them, and we have
Right.
so many miles of roads.
right, right.
yeah, I wouldn't recommend cutting that budget at all.
Right, unless we've really I don't have any perspective. Is 525,000
That's
a
correct.
lot over the past few years,
Exactly.
or is
It's been
that
pretty steady,
yeah?
Yeah.
about a
I
half a
mean, maybe we
million.
could get, I mean, are you guys supposed to have a 5-year plan on the roads, or no?
Not on the roads,
Okay.
no.
'Cause it's not.
No, but I think you
Well,
know
the work should.
that's something that would be good to
Yeah,
yeah.
it is, isn't it?
to be thinking about exactly.
Yes,
Well,
to
I
have,
remember years ago, there was, I think in the warrant or in the book, whatever, there was a list of when roads were getting paved.
Mhm.
Yeah, I remember
'Cause I
that.
remember ours was, you know, new pavement, and then like 4 years, 5 years later, top coat.
Yeah,
You know, there was a whole list back in 2011.
Well, and that's the other question, is that
2003.
last I knew, he had some that needed top coat. Cause they'd done the first coat or something, and I don't
I
know.
think those are all cut up.
Did they,
I
did he
think
do them all?
most
I
of
don't
what
know.
Would be top coat, because it's more maintenance.
mhm.
He's not grinding anything anymore. So you're not doing your base and top coat.
Yeah.
So really, at the end of the day, we really can't touch that number,
okay,
I mean,
right?
Yeah.
maybe bring it down to an even 500, but I don't
I
think I
like
would.
even numbers.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, but. But I wouldn't go as low as 350. I mean, leaving it the same, typically you get less every year.
correct.
Just
Yep,
because
yep.
of the prices
It's just
of
we don't
things, but-
know,
Right,
so,
I think leaving it at an even,
okay.
Seems to put $500,000 into roads every year.
In paving, yeah,
It's just a matter of what needs it.
Where are
right.
you gonna go with it?
Yeah,
I'd rather have it in there and not use it.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
Have the
just
road come apart and
it's an ongoing maintenance.
Yeah. And, you know, if we've got a lot of, I mean, there's more and more subdivision roads all the time that, I mean, if there's nothing else to do, then good time to catch up on those, because those will probably last longer too, because there's less traffic and all of that, but. The difference is that nobody's calling and complaining, so they don't get to the top of his list.
All right, we're moving on to sanitation.
What's that's the block grant thing, right?
The LRAP is the block grant. Now, don't pay attention to that on the right, because I believe that was last year's numbers. We haven't spent anything this year, because we came into January with 16,000. We haven't touched that, because now we just got our LRAP payment this week for 62,000 and something. So there is like 79,000 now in that account, to let you guys know.
And I sort of know, but the history of that is that money gets used
on shared roads, state shared roads. And used to be, like Boothby Road too, was one.
State aid roads, so it's roads that turned over from the state to the town, and, what's that?
117, yes,
117.
yes. That's where the money is supposed to be used.
So the money that comes into that, would it make sense to put it into,
You can't move that money, from what I was told this afternoon.
it goes into its own account, but then,
It's gonna be used for its intended purpose.
no, right, no, yeah, I get that. I just wondering is, like, can we almost use that as an offset? But then you'd have to offset specifically
I don't think.
Yeah,
roads and
it's not really
highways.
What you're gonna get.
Historically, he does big road projects with it, like the bridge at Axelson and Boothby.
Yeah,
That came out of LRAP.
okay.
I don't know, there's other projects that, they're gonna be big dollar, so that's kind of like a reserve for that.
So you're not proposing to spend anything out of that this year or next year?
It's not my place. I'm
Well-
sure it will be needed somewhere next year.
I think it would be good to have like a forecasted, like, roads and
Where and
projects
how
and
much.
bridges
It-
and
Yeah,
culverts
well, we're
and-
supposed to have that every November is a total report assessing every road, which would help us in knowing what needs to be tarred. And
That's what the
needs to be
Contract is, right, on that computer program? Wasn't it the computer, is that the computer program that prints that
Maine
out?
used to have a program that municipalities could use to grade their roads, and it would tell you the condition and estimated cost and all that, and it's not available anymore.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if iWorks has.
That
it.
that was maybe 10 years
It was a
ago.
while ago.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
That's how he started doing the list that he would give us on the.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he used to provide that, and, I mean, it was way more information than I ever needed to say yes or no on a dollar value, but, I mean, it was interesting. Definitely more useful to select board.
yes, yeah. It's information we need to have.
Okay, now we can go
Alright.
to sanitation.
Sanitation.
Now that 81,009, you gotta throw that out.
We pay for the roll-offs at the end of the year? 'Cause that's- Nothing's been spent?
When he sends his bill, we pay them.
So maybe we'll just get lucky.
We
Maybe.
We haven't gotten a bill to, so
Not,
far.
not for that. No, last year it was 50. And I don't know why it was dropped to 25,000. But again, there's been no bill come in for it.
So do you have, so potentially in the next 2 weeks or so,
I know.
if we don't get a bill, then we didn't spend anything.
Well,
And then we might have
no, but if we,
double next year.
well, the thing is, I think we're over budget if it does come in.
Hmm?
If it's 50, you mean?
Hmm?
If it's 50?
If the 25,000.
Oh, 'cause it was 50.
Then the whole account is,
Is it in here?
Over.
I believe so.
But if it doesn't come in, then you gotta double the budget for next year? Or is it always delayed? till
Well,
the following
that's a good
year?
question, really. I don't know. Because there was talk that no, not the contract, not the recycle. Yeah, no,
Who's hauling the roll-offs? Is that Pine State?
no.
Was it Pine
Uh,
State?
I can't remember his name.
No,
Was it CIA?
we asked the same.
No,
question.
that's, no.
It's a local, ain't it? Yeah, it's a local.
Eric?
I don't
It's a
remember.
one-man show.
Oh. Okay, so in 2023, it was 21,000,
Okay,
which is probably why we went to 25.
correct.
And that was Pine State, demo haul-offs. Demo roll-off,
Oh, right, yeah, it might be.
demo haul-offs, yeah.
I can't remember the guy's name though, but that's probably correct. We talked about that in office last week with the front office, trying to figure that out.
I was just looking to see if there was something different from demo to, I think
So-
that's all of it, though.
It really looks like pretty much what you've got here is, same budget as it was last year.
Yeah, because if that roll-off bill comes in at 25, we're basically almost to that 127,
Right,
once you have the numbers expenditures put in.
yep.
Yes.
And then curbside, there's,
Contract.
yeah, contract tonnage fees, that's,
That get, I believe. No, the solid waste is Mellon. That's coming up in June, so, yeah, we were told that they're not gonna increase, but we're gonna get that in writing
Okay.
and just extend their contract for 3 years.
Good.
So we're hoping we get that this week, in this coming week for you guys before we meet again.
Yep.
Recycle tonnage fees is what's hauled into Eco Main, and I believe the contract tonnage fees, that's the Eco Main tonnage, because we take like 30 ton a week in 2 different days, in Monday and Wednesday, to them.
yeah. And year-to-date, we've spent 156.
So there's a little more coming. Gonna be over budget.
Yeah,
We're gonna be over budget.
which is why, 170, 574 is an unusual number. It looks like that
That is a strange number,
that
isn't
came
it?
from something.
Yes, it did.
730,
I don't know, I left my calculations
Did
in
you
my,
divide that out and then?
I think I did, per month, and then,
Yeah.
175.
So can
And with more,
Yeah, can we make it an even number? Yeah. Can we make it 170?
more houses every year, that would increase, right?
Right.
yes, that's true, that's true.
So make it 175?
I was thinking 175.
Okay.
Versus the 155.
Okay.
An odd number,
Wow,
looks like it's
yeah, you guys going up
gonna
on
be
me.
exactly
Wow.
right.
Right. And did he present a capital expense, any capital expense requests for this upcoming year? No?
Do you have anything you'd like to present for? You're presenting this budget, so,
The capital for
for
Public
Public
Works?
Works?
Isn't there another truck that was
Yeah,
denied a
we-
couple times
Yes,
Discuss.
that we need?
No, we've only denied 2 different trucks 2 different times.
well, the townspeople voted it down, not you
Right.
necessarily.
We've never
Yeah,
denied the same
voted
truck
down.
twice.
Voted down
Oh, we as a
150.
town,
The
yeah,
town,
yeah, yeah.
Right.
Not
But-
you as a board, as a
So
committee.
2020, in our
What?
2025 plan, we had estimated $100,000
Yes,
for public works.
that's what you were doing this year, this for
Yep.
2025.
Yeah.
We did
Because we
150.
didn't have his numbers,
Mhm.
with anything.
Well, we've got somebody that might speak to used equipment here.
Yeah,
He's looking at you like,
I know, he's like,
Well,
it's that guy
yeah.
behind you.
we know that we need
yeah.
equipment.
A
It's
used
just like,
truck.
what is that?
Obviously, a new truck is 300 grand.
Yeah,
We should be able to find a decently used truck for hopefully half that. Even at
175.
150-ish, try to keep it as cheap as possible, but anything is gonna be probably newer and better than what, we gotta start somewheres. Because we're fast approaching the with what we have. I understand these fire trucks, these are conversions, these are nice, but they're not gonna bring you into the new age,
And Band-Aids?
So, I think at least try to get a docket of one newer truck for the town would be.
I think the fire trucks are a great option for a truck that only plows. I think looking at newer trucks for the ones that get used year-round, and I think that's kind of along the same lines as, that's why we went with the 550s and we went with new ones when we did that, because they get used all the time. You know, so when you're talking about a year-round truck that's gonna get used essentially every day, they go out and start it, I think makes more sense to have something reliable. But when you're talking about one that just gets used part-time, you know, an old truck on a good frame is just fine for that. I mean,
Yeah.
we've proven that old trucks on bad frames are doing all right with that, so.
How old is the truck?
Which one?
The frame,
Which one?
the build, the in-house built ones.
The fire truck?
Yeah.
What is it, what year is it?
What's
The
that?
one- The one that is already a plow truck is the same year as our engine 6 that we took out of service.
Is it 93?
93.
93.
93,
93.
yeah.
So that would be,
So it's 30,
the one that we just built is a 93? All right, so that's the oldest one in the fleet.
So if we were
Yes, I was asking about the newest one in the fleet before. The newest one is the one that's on its way out the door.
Right.
The old ones keep going.
If we were to put in 150, 175 for capital improvements, how new a truck, what kind of truck can we get for that?
well, what I saw, I looked at one at Whitney's that was 2018 with about 70,000 miles on it, and they were at 90.
Oh, wow.
And that was outfitted, plow, wing, sander. So the options are there. Best time to buy them, obviously, is gonna be summertime, because people are gonna be unloading their fleet, and that's when you're gonna get the best buy. You roll into winter, and it just went up 25, 30 grand, so.
So can we make it through this winter without that?
I truly think right now, knock on wood, we're okay.
Yeah.
If we do decide, the board, to have him finish the other new truck, that's gonna give us, you know, 2 older new
Yeah.
plow trucks. We got Marquis that is still being used.
Yeah,
We got the 2 550s.
right.
And then there's the possibility of the orange one, but where do you cut the ties with? I know we've got a lot of money vested in it. We've looked at just dropping a sander in it and using it solely for a plow truck if we really needed to. But that needs 2 tie rod ends and a leaf spring. So,
I thought that was all done.
no, it's not all
Oh,
done. No.
So there's 15-ish thousand left over in the capital improvement.
16.
Yes, he said, I think there's 16,000 left
There's
from
16 left in that account.
16 to
That
build, for the build of the new truck.
The new old truck.
Which, you know, I have the paperwork, he's stating 13 to 15,000 to convert. And that would be utilizing the current, pulling parts off the other trucks down there and building one truck. And he's given me an estimated time of a week to do so. That's given that if we don't have any weather events.
It doesn't snow.
Right, so.
So even if it takes 3 weeks, 4 weeks, I mean, that's still, there's a lot of winter left.
Yeah.
And then
That's
that's a dump body, that's a dump truck.
Yeah, that's the new, we already own the dump body, it's sitting down back.
That's a four-season truck, just like the.
Built-in
other
sander,
one that- yeah.
spreader, front wheel, spreader. That's all new lines, hydraulic lines, everything would be run new.
Yep.
So,
So if we keep 100 in our plan, do you feel that's sufficient? Do we think,
I mean, for what we have, I think 100 grand could probably buy something a lot better than we have right now.
This is
I don't know
such
where
hard
the-
calculation, I
It
know,
is.
or-
you know,
right,
And we got such old stuff, except for the 2 Fords.
Yeah. It's just a lot of it's just been pushed off.
Yeah.
You know, it's pushed off, and then, you're at the point where, you know, it's a
Right.
hard call.
Which is why we need a capital plan, so we're investing over time.
Right,
Right,
you know,
and
it
it-
should have started last
So
year.
I think the real question is
and
it 100, is it
it got pushed off
150?
again. So, that's, you know, if we're gonna pick it, we just gotta start and we gotta go with it.
Yeah,
Well, I think the hard part, if from, last year's town meeting is, it was very specific for new 2024 550s.
Right.
And so maybe the warrant article just needs to be.
Yeah,
more
150
more generic.
yeah, $150,000 to replace one of the frontline trucks in the fleet,
Right,
Right.
or.
which is really what we're talking with.
Right, right. We're not looking at a 550 with this money. We're looking, you know, our two axle dumps are the worst off, I
Yeah.
think, and that's what you kind of need. If you're gonna utilize a truck all season, you're gonna be using that all summer too, doing ditching and culverts, and you need a big truck.
I mean, we
Yeah.
want to be transparent with the taxpayers that, it's gonna be for replacement of the trucks, but you don't know what you're gonna be able to find.
Right, you know, we're
in
not
the
spec
summer
ordering
months.
a $300,000 truck, so it's gonna be, you know, obviously, we're gonna look for the best deal we can find, but it's not gonna be a new spec truck.
Right. So I think the warrant is, we need to replace
Up to-
up to $150,000 to replace a 24-plus-year-old vehicle or a 20-year-old plus vehicle.
What's that?
Right,
Yeah, frontline vehicle.
Because both our wheelers right now are rough.
Yeah.
The Mack is being used, but the other one isn't, the 14, truck 14, the orange. And that needs some work, and that's gonna be solely a plow truck at best. Because the body's rough. You know, they want it ratcheted down with the sander in the back to get it through the winter. So,
So one of the things that I would suggest is that the way that these articles for capital are written, like, for example, last year it was to vote to approve $150,000 for Public Works for the purchase of a new 550. I might recommend to word that in such that it's up to so much for the replacement of a truck. Because one of the things that we've run into in the past is that there's money hanging out there that's been approved out of the capital fund, and it just hangs there forever. So, for example, if this had gotten passed last year, and it says vote to approve 150 for Public Works, but that truck only cost them 125, where's the other 25? Is that 25 still allocated for that, or?
I would assume, you know, it would be up to.
Right, and
And
that's,
meaning that, you know, they bought the truck and they needed to add something to it. You still have the availability, but I think at the end of the day, you know, if we go buy a truck up to 150 and I could find one for 100, I mean, I'm a taxpayer. I would go for the 100, and then we could save the $50,000.
yeah, and again,
You know, I'm not looking to spend max amount, you know, if we
Right.
obviously want the best deal.
yeah,
that
and
we
I'm,
can get.
then I'm not talking about how much you can find a truck for.
I would
or
assume
anything
it would
like
just
that.
go back into the general
Yeah.
fund,
Into the.
No, it
well,
goes
into the
back,
state
stays in
capital.
capital.
capital improvement
Right.
fund, so.
And that's basically what I'm getting. It's more a technical thing. It's like,
Right, you're allowing us to spend this amount.
right, but
Rather
once you
than
get the
having-
truck replaced, you no longer have whatever balance is left. You have
Exactly,
to
say
come
we
back to
spend
town for it.
125 and we're done, then the 25 extra goes into the capital.
And then the other thing that I would suggest is some kind of time frame on capital expenditures that get approved. I don't know how to do that, or
I would think that's probably a bylaws, like.
It needs-
it's not,
needs to
right
be
now it's
very
nowhere.
specific, because, like.
You can't
most
order a
things
rescue.
You would think in a 12-month period you could get it, but some things have to be ordered and take 3 years, right? So
Right.
you can't have a definite thing. It's gotta be based on.
What you're
item
buying.
you're purchasing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So it kind of needs to be in the warrant article at that point, is it's like, we're gonna replace this within,
You know, obviously
Yeah.
with
I don't know,
that
some
truck,
years.
if you're allotting up to a 150, it's gonna be within 12 months, because we need that ASAP.
Right.
So
you say
wouldn't-
obviously, but 2 years ago, we approved to build 2 trucks and we got one and it's, I don't have a problem with.
I can't answer that.
No, I know, and again, the money and all of that doesn't matter. The problem I have is trying to keep track of what's left and how it gets spent and the bookkeeping of that. There should be because, I mean, the way it is right now, the remaining balance on what we approved for that is indefinite until it's gone, right? Until we build that
Yeah, 'cause there
second
was no
truck.
time frame put on it.
Right.
So we can't do anything else with that money until this either gets built or spent or votes to put the money back into the
And we
capital
still have
reverse,
to
right.
talk.
So if there's a time limit
Yeah.
on these things,
On
It
the
gives us-
ones that can have a time limit, I don't see why not, but like he
Right.
said, on anything new, if you're ordering a fire truck, you're ordering a rescue, you really can't, because you can bump back 6 months
Right.
in ordering those, so you really,
yeah, and I
I
mean,
want to suggest that when we focus on the capital improvement, that we defer this piece to that point.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Yep.
cut anything off that's important, but
Right.
we're going to look at that whole thing as a lump
Yeah.
sum.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I hope I wasn't.
No, I'm good. I'm good. If you have any more questions?
No,
No,
I
because
think we're through the
presentation here.
presentation, right?
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Motion to adjourn, and then we have another,
Yeah. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Oh,
okay.
second.
All in favor?
I have a question for that. Without getting into specifics, can you say, I guess, why we need off-camera?
Personnel.
But nothing's gonna get shared with us that isn't public knowledge, is it, right? I mean, I'm just,
It's gonna be in the article when we vote on it. Yes.
okay.
Okay.
In favor?
Aye.
Okay. All
Yeah.
set, Ben?